By all these, bimohayati bewilders, esha, this lust, jnanam, knowledge, avritya, covering, dehinam, of the embodied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Divine Grace A.C. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul. And therefore, Lord Krishna is giving hints of those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all the activities of the senses. And thus, when we hear about the sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter. And thus, the mind and the senses, the spirit soul becomes addicted. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. This false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke swadhi kalatradishu bhum bhauma iha bhauma ijjadiha yat tirtha buddhi salilena karchija janeshwa abhigneshu sa eva go kharaha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to the place of pilgrimage simply to take bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. So we have to so I made this mistake and I seek forgiveness that now I should have been doing Mangalacharan and then I should have started with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I seek your forgiveness. Now in here in Bhagavad Gita, this particular verse is being spoken by Sri Bhagavan, and he is actually giving a response to Arjuna. Arjuna asks that Indriyanam hi chartam yan mano anuvidhiyate tadasya haratim pragyam vayur. No, not this one. Athakena proktoyam papam charati purusha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. So that's the question which Arjuna is asking, that how do I understand, why, even though we know as a spirit soul, even though we know as a person that something is sinful or something is wrong, but still we go and then perform that action. And then when we do that, it feels like as if somebody is forcing it. So why that is happening? Please tell. So Krishna is actually in that response, he's saying that it's driven by the lust, and on Thursday, Hema Jagannath Prabhu, His Grace Hema Jagannath Prabhu, very nicely he gave an example that how, the Prabhuji conquered, how we have heard it so many times that Srila Prabhupada's books are like time bomb. So when it reaches, a house, it's just a matter of time before it starts showing its effect. So how, Prabhuji explained so nicely, took an example of Prabhu, that he was son of schoolmaster, and then his father will try to convince him, teach him, but he'll always be into trouble. But how he started, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and then ultimately he became devotee, and now he is initiated by His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj. So that's a wonderful example. The how do we conquer this lust? How do we conquer this desire? And today, what I wanted to do is that continue further and see if we can we can understand this lust part, what's going on there, and what can we do to overcome this, to win over. Okay. So in here, there are first we have to understand that where is this all problem starting. Prabhupada is very nicely explaining that the enemy, which is the lust, has taken these very strategic positions in the body, and those are the senses, the mind, and the intelligence. Okay. Now, first, let's take example of the senses, and then see where all this actually that's like the starting of the all this trouble. And that's why I was on this verse trying to read this verse, which Krishna says in 2.67, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 67th verse, that Indriyanam hi chartam yan mano anu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayur nam ivam ambasi. So what is Krishna saying there? That even if there is one sense, indriyanam, even if there is one of the senses on which if mind is dwelling, then it will be blown away. Just like, and then we'll lose the control. Just like a boat which is parked in the water is actually blown away by the wind. So that's what he's actually giving example. So we have to understand this part, that it's actually all of the senses are important, okay, to be purified. Now, how do we purify? So there are three three things. Whenever there's a desire which is arising, then there are first, what you can do, we can simply go ahead and then satisfy the desire of the sense. Let's say desire is to watch something. You go and then watch a movie, and then you satisfy the desire. The second desire is to eat something, and then we go ahead and then satisfy the desire of the tongue by eating something. Okay? Or the second, so this is like go and then satisfy the urge of the desire, urge of the sense. Now, what is wrong with that? Well, the problem with that is that it will keep on. It's almost impossible to satisfy the sense. Now, and then we have seen this example the shastras are full with this example, that it's almost impossible to satisfy the senses. We have an example of all these demons like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksh. They did so much of austerity, and then with that penances, and then they got so many boons, such powerful boons. And then what did they do with that? Did they stop there? Okay, fine, yes, I received this boon. Now I'm so powerful. Hiranyakashipu got this power that nobody can kill him inside, outside house, day, night, up, down, with the weapon, without the weapon. All those, he tried to put all those, those who are coming from programming background will understand that, to the best of his knowledge, he put all the if and all else clauses. That if this, not that, tried to make his program, his death, unreachable. But what did happen? Did he stop after that? That he has become powerful now? He's go and then live nicely? No. After that, he started most abominable activities, so far so that he built his own temple, and then said that you pray to me, stop praying to Lord, stop praying to Vishnu, stop praying to Krishna, you pray to me, you start my worship. So from here we can understand that senses are cannot be satisfied. Now the next part which we can do is that, okay, if the desire comes, then we can try to oppress it. We can try to oppress our senses or control it. So even there, we see example that senses are uncontrollable. What's the example? We have example of Vishwamitra, where he tried to control his senses, but what happened? As soon as Indra sent Menaka, he uh, fell for it. So it's not possible. Also, Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita itself. I'm forgetting the verse, but the meaning is that it's easy to control the wind, but it's very difficult to control the mind. One of the senses. So now what do we do then? Then the third option is that, and that makes more sense, is that we actually um, move the sense object. We give it a higher taste. We try to give it a higher taste. So for example, somebody wants to watch, okay, eyes are there to um, to behold the beauty. So yeah, who is more beautiful than Krishna? Tongue is to talk, then why not talk the glories of um, Krishna? That's what Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Tushyanti charamati cha. Whenever devotees meet, what they do? They bodhyanta parasparam. They satisfy each other, uh, then sing the glories. Um, even Shukdev Goswami says the same thing, that Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagwan Ishvara Hari Shrotabhya Kirtitabhyascha Kirtitabhya. Sing the glories. Sing the glories of whom? Me? No, no. Sing the glories of Kirtitabhya, the one who is worth being glorified. And who is that? Bhagwan Ishvara Hari Sarvatma. He's in the heart of everyone, and he is the Bhagwan. He's the um, he's the Ishvara, the topmost controller. He's the Hari, the who can give us freedom from all kind of miseries. So that's what we can do. That try to uh, give the higher taste to our senses. Now, in that regard, actually, I was when I was trying to research this about this class, I also came up with how difficult. I came across a story which happened about a decade ago in America only. Which actually tells the how difficult it is to um, control our urges. So, and then through that, I'll also try to highlight, that what exactly is something which we can do to make sure that we are safe in our spiritual practice. Of course, that's easier said than done, but at least it will give us some tool. So, you know, um, please, hear this carefully. So there's this story, there's this lady. Her name is Angie Bochanan. And then what? So she was a regular American housewife, where husband will go to office work, and then she will take care of the home, and then she is a good homemaker. But once kids grew up, they started going to school. She had, a lot of time left on her plate. So what does she do? So she actually went to a nearby casino, and she promised to herself that, I'll be very controlled. I'll probably spend just $10 there, and then it will be once in a week affair, but it will just give me some, freedom from the boredom. And she started doing that routinely, and before she realized, actually, she became addicted to gambling. She became a compulsive gambler. So far, so that she lost $20,000, over a period of time. And how did that happen? That these gambling houses, casinos are very smart. So they extended her because she became a regular customer. They extended her a line of credit. So now, when she lost $20,000, it was by no means that she will be able to pay that. So she said, "Okay, fine. What I'll do is," so she spoke with her husband and then said that, "Okay, I'll never do this again," and then promise and all that. So that got settled, and then they somehow paid that $20,000. Then her parents became sick, so she started, going to them once every 2 weeks. She'll fly, and then after some time, she actually again that boredom kicked in, and then she started going to casino once again. She didn't learn her lesson, losing $20,000 first time. And uh, now, after a while, her parents actually died, and then she inherited $100 million. I think it was 100 million or so, few $1 million. And these casino guys tracked her down. She was, depressed, and then they started giving her a lot of promotions. And what did she do with those promotions? So she actually, her husband only took her, to casino. Okay, let's go. This is going to be one time thing, and then we are just going to have, enjoy this free limousine, and then hotel stay, and then that's it. And then they started, and then that one time, and then she lost all the $1 million. Her husband just left her for a few minutes, uh, in the casino, went upstairs to check with the kids, and then she lost all the all her inheritance. She also lost her house, uh, and she had to declare bankruptcy, and then casino filed a case on her. All that happened, but she tried to defend that I was actually, it was not me, it was the it was my habit which actually I had no control over, and casino was trying to take advantage of it. So that was her argument in the court. Okay, and she tried to defend with her uh, with that argument. But the point which I want to highlight is that, see, habit is so powerful, you know, that it can lead one to lose all the riches, all the wealth. Okay. So what can we do? Then uh, we can actually try to build good habits around it. Okay. And then when we try to build good habits, then those habits actually automatically guard us against these problematic situations. They safeguard us. You know? And we'll see the example of, one wonderful devotee who is, of course, playing this Leela, but showing us that how by those habits we can actually safeguard us. So what what are those habits? So habits also has three parts to it. What are the three parts? One is the trigger, okay, or the cue. Um, Second is the routine which you do, and then finally you get the reward out of it. And uh, uh, I think it was Chaitanya Charan Prabhu who was saying that it's actually something. It's kind of an tapasya is something which we um, do now with a view that we can actually enjoy the fruit of it in the future. So building good habit is like doing this tapasya, so that we can enjoy the fruit of it in the future. Example could be that a student. So a student is studying, uh, today, so that can become learned and then start business or work. Similarly, we devotees are actually when we start chanting, uh, we don't have this automatic rasa, but we have this hope, ador shraddha, that yes, when I'm doing this is the right thing. And then we have examples of acharyas and vaishnavas who have self-realized souls, and then looking at them, that yes, if I follow this process, Prabhupada said that this is a scientific method. So if we do this today, hopefully we will develop the taste for it, and then in the future we will actually relish its rewards. Okay. So that's why it's very important that we do the build these good habits. Now, what are the good habits? So the most important good habit is the habit of shravanam, uh, which we actually like this discourse, this discussion we are having, morning Bhagavatam discussion, uh, listening to other devotees, acharyas, swamis, prabhujis, then reading from Prabhupada's books. These are all part of shravanam. So it's very important that we build this habit. Okay, we are very fortunate that um, in our sangha we have this wonderful initiative where we have this opportunity to um, listen to wonderful classes, morning and then evening, both the times. It's very important for us to take the advantage of it, and then participate. uh, what is other part? Shravanam and then kirtanam. uh, Kirtanam is that it's very um, for example, nothing is hidden from you, and you all know me, and have seen me. So whenever I'm, it's very, so this kirtanam is very purifying for me, because when Shimesha Prabhu ordered me to speak, I had to spend, I'm not so learned, I'm not, so I had to spend a lot of time, trying to read from one or the other other source, and then put that effort, so that I don't waste my waste time of all the Vaishnavas who have from their busy schedule assembled here, and then I can say something which is of some value. So it's very purifying. So we should do that. Okay. Then no, we should also try to go and then participate in some kind of seva. That's the beauty of serving absolute truth. Krishna, that no matter what is the seva, it is at the same level. It's so any kind of seva, cooking, cleaning, deity worship, shringar, singing, kirtan, nothing, doesn't matter what it is, but it's we should try to participate in that. So these are the good habits we can build. And then as I was saying that there are when we'll go through these, we'll be tested, will be tested for these. Also, we have to guard against offenses. There's wonderful, and then we'll also have to check on our attitude. What kind of attitudes is there with which we are going for this service, or we are doing our sadhana. Uh, for example, Devkinand Prabhuji gave a wonderful example of a Brahmana who was very punctual with his Gayatri. And then one day, uh, he actually forgot about it and he went to sleep. And then um Maya Devi comes to wake him up. And then he asked that, you're supposed to, drive me away. Then why you're waking me up to, chant my Gayatri mantra? And he said, you take a lot of pride in doing your Gayatri chanting timely. And because you're taking so much pride, I want you to continue to have this pride, that is boosting your ego. And then if you'd have missed today, that would have probably crushed your ego. I didn't want to do that. So we have to understand that, what is the pride, what is the mood with which we are actually going and serving. With that, it also um, reminds me of one more point, which I was listening to a lecture from His Holiness Bhakti Vijnana Swami Maharaj, and then he was saying a wonderful point that uh, which was related to lust, that all these actually we all are hankering for a relationship. And when we actually start, and we all have, I mean, I have personally experienced that when you come to, initially, we come to ISKCON and Sangha, and then we are very enthusiastic, seeing that, oh wow, it's so much selflessness, and there's so much of love. But and then we respect everyone, anyone and everyone we see. That's so nice. But as and when we um, get, become part of the sangha, then we start desiring for respect. Oh, that Prabhuji didn't say Haribol to me first, or oh, this person is a newcomer, and then let me, um, give lecture to this person, or so one or the other, you start actually desiring, and that becomes the we have to, that's like watering our ego. That's not good. So what Maharaj was saying, that our relationships relationships are very important. At the same time, those should be without any desires. I think time is I'll take 5 more minutes, 2 more minutes. Is it okay, Prabhuji? I know you said that you must stop at 7:45.
No, no, absolutely fine. Go ahead, please.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji. So thank you, Prabhuji. So now coming back to what I was saying, that these two. So Maya Devi actually works through these two um, with two Shaktis. No? What are those? Avarnatmika and then Prekchatmika. Now, what are these? So, if we take example of the Angie, then in her case, her intelligence was covered. She knew she lost money two times. $20,000 one time, other time $1 million. But still, her intelligence, she did not get on track. Her intelligence was actually covered by this Maya. So we have to so any kind of sense desire and the happiness we are deriving from the um, sense gratification, that is actually by our Natmika Maya, our Natmika Shakti. So this is Krishna's external potency. And then second potency is which actually is which actually um, helps us identify, actually forget, helps us forget our real identity, and it is actually the one which checks whether we are ready for Krishna consciousness or not. And that's Prakchatmika Maya. Now and as when I was actually reading about Srila Haridas Thakur, both these actually, he actually defeated both these Mayas. So we all probably know this story, that there's one emperor, and then he wanted to actually uh, ensure that Srila Haridas Thakur falls down from his position. So he sent a prostitute, and that prostitute went to Srila Das Thakur and then proposed him, and then he said that, okay, fine, let me um finish my rounds, and then I will actually do what you say. And he said, I'm sorry, when morning, it became morning, and then he was not finished with his round. So the prostitute became very agitated, and he said, I'm sorry, please come tomorrow. Today I could not finish my rounds. So she came again, and like this happened three times. And then just by hearing and observing hearing the chanting of Srila Haridas Thakur, and his looking at his devotion, she became his disciple. And so here, Maya Devi was actually trying to test the Aranatmika. Um, so she is trying to test Haridas Thakur with Aranatmika, trying to provide, sense gratification, then see. And then second time, again, similar pastime happened where Maya Devi herself came. When Srila Haridas Thakur was actually praying for the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like, Srila Advaita Acharya was praying. So at that time, again, Maya Devi came, and she also uh, proposed. So in the first instance, it was prostitute. In the second instance, it was actually Maya Devi herself. And she also did the similar thing. And then but later on, she declared that, okay, I was here to test you. And then actually, Srila Haridas Thakur actually initiates her on the Harinam. Okay? So he actually defeated both, Arnatmika and then Prekchatmika Maya. So with this, I would like to stop here, and Please, if there are any comments, welcome. Or if somebody wants to share something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful, wonderful class. So many points. Very nice. Anybody has any comments, reflections, any points, any questions, concerns? Please open up. You can share your thoughts. Please go ahead. Nothing to say. Everybody is convinced. Yeah. Beautiful lecture. Wonderful. Very nice.
Thank you for blessing, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Yeah. Anybody else has anything to add? More than the Prabhu.
It was explained in a very nice way. Thank you, Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu. Very nice.
Thank you for blessing, Prabhuji. You always encourage me. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful lecture. You explained it like Amrinath Prabhu said. You gave us good examples, a lot of insight in terms of how we can get out of our engagement with the senses and develop good habits. Definitely, very. My question to you, Prabhuji, is how does a person falls into is that a perception one lives with that you know um, enjoying your or gratifying your senses will give you happiness and that's the only happiness? Is that because of the ignorance and he doesn't have the higher taste? That's where they get lost. Is that because the world is so by default set like that?
So, Prabhuji, if I understand your question correctly, you're saying that are we drawn to the sense gratification because the happiness we derive from it?
Yeah, and that's the only happiness we know of, when we are born, because we have not been associated with the devotees or the messengers of the transcendental knowledge.
Prabhuji, so there are two parts to it. One is that the inherent quality of the soul is trying to be happy. Now, when soul wants to be happy, the first thing which starts is that by association and hearing we get to know that's the first devil. For example, if we don't know about iPhone, then we'll never develop a desire to possess iPhone. But as soon as we um, um, hear about iPhone, we want to actually have ownership, thinking that if I own this, I will become happy. Okay? And then that actually comes because we are associated with the three modes of material nature, especially the passion part, which actually drives us towards owning and doing activity. So because of that, we are actually, and then we think that that's the happiness. Now, second part actually is that what you said is right, that we are actually not aware of or haven't realized the higher taste, and that's why actually we are going for the lower taste. Does it make sense, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. That's my understanding of it. Thank you.
Um,
Thank
Mr. Prabhu, Amritanand Prabhu, if you want to add something, Hema Jagannath Prabhu.
That was wonderful. Wonderful explanation. Thank you. Amritanand Prabhu, Hema Jagannath Prabhu, Subal Prabhu. Anything would like to add?
Just one thing, Prabhu. My thoughts on the question, like maybe, perhaps, like was Akhilesh Prabhu, like he answered it very nicely, but maybe him just missed out. Isn't that because we associate ourselves, identify ourselves with the body, and in other words, we identify ourselves with the senses, and to gratify our senses, we look for all this till we get that, like Prabhu said in his lecture, till we have to get the higher taste. So, yes, Akhilesh Prabhu, what
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, you're saying it right, that all these actually starts from the root cause is desire, and then because we want to we desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. What Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Jivir Sarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. So that's our actually original position. And we see that we are serving always somebody or the other. But if our desire is actually to enjoy separately from Krishna, and that's when we fall down, and then all this, we come down to the material world, and then we get this body, material body, and then we come under the three modes of material nature. So yes, Prabhuji, thank you for bringing that point, that it's and then we lose our real identity. We are separated now from Krishna. If you see, we are the energy of Krishna. Now, energy has no business of enjoying, right? And energetic is the one, possessor is the one who enjoys, and energy is there to serve the energetic, right? If we let's say take an example of we buy a house, and then the house is kind of for lack of better example, is our energy now, because we bought it, we possess it. Now if house says that I want to enjoy by myself, then that's it will it will go all haywire, right? So similarly, because we are the energy of Krishna, so we have no business of enjoying, or our enjoyment comes from serving the enjoyer, supreme enjoyer.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you. So over to you, Simeshwar Prabhu.
Thank you so much. So nice. Anybody else has anything to add? Any reflections? Any other questions, concerns? So nice to hear wonderful realizations. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question for the entire class, actually like maybe a tutorial which everyone could reflect on. It's based on today's class when Akhilesh Prabhu was giving the class, and a few days back when Gauranga Darshan Prabhu had given his class on this Zoom call. And he had made a statement that Vaishnavas in private, there's a lot of their intimacy in private. So they would be able to express at a very intimate level. And in public, there is a level of formality or some kind of a distance. So that's the Vaishnava etiquette. And I was thinking that our conditioning of millions of birth, we are very close and very intimately connected with our anarthas, sense gratification, whatever you call it. So I was trying to, what a Vaishnava etiquette is when you're on your platform of yourself, your true self, and then there is this platform, what the behavior and how the behavior is. So if devotees can reflect on that, and then maybe some other time, whenever it is possible, or maybe in that forum, if you can share your realization, that will help us understand this point of Akhileshwar Prabhu, of how our sense gratification is trapping us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Did you want to answer right away or like later?
No, I'm sorry. I thought everyone. Okay, I'm so sorry. Now, maybe later on, Prabhu, not right away. But
Okay.
just think about it, because when I'm trying to process that, and I would be very interested to hear all the devotees' points of view and reflections on Vaishnava etiquette of intimacy, and then how, our conditioning, our intimacy with, so how our behavior should be.
Yeah, probably you can put it in writings, in the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, so that everybody get to at least get some kind of thought about what really need to put, because of this need a deep, deep thought, realizations. I mean, I don't think it's a simple answer, one word or two words. They need some more writing, I believe.
What fascinates me is that every aspect, whether it is morning class or evening class, they're all interconnected, everything. If we just think more about it, you can see how it's so relatable, everything. It's all interconnected.
Next, a few verses up to 43rd and 44, actually. Few verses is mainly speaking on this subject matter. How these are all connected, how the individual soul and also as a person, as a living entity, how needs to take it, how it is related, and it's coming up tomorrow and after tomorrow and Thursday. These verses really focus on this. Also helps in that way. Yeah, there are only 3 more verses in this chapter. It's mainly on focus on this. Okay. Anybody else has anything to add? Okay. So let's then conclude today's session. Let's thank Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu. This is the first time Prabhuji is taking the class on this forum. So let's thank Prabhuji. So nice, taking Haribol to Prabhuji 3 times. Haribol. Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
And Announcements. 28th is the Gauri Purnima. 27th is Adhivas, winning time at the temple. Please join. Then also we will have next Sunday we will have the Nagara Sankirtan, part of Gauri Purnima festival. It still will be in Edison area because of Edison is our main, targeted, area that people, so that they may more connect temple. So we'll be most probably on Sabzi Mandi and Patel and Sabzi Mandi. Yesterday was at Apna Bazaar. It was so nice, ecstatic. Many people, commended and appreciated, and they benefited lots, so many ways. So this is the way that this is really the practical. And Srila Prabhupada always mentioned that when we engage into the Sankirtan, that we are directly engaging in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted this to spread all over the towns and villages, all over the world, all over the places. That's the mission which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started 100 years ago and imbibed this to the devotees, and that's flowing down from the Guru Parampara. Everybody focused on this one thing. Everybody took their entire efforts for one thing. Srila Prabhupada came from Vrindavan to this Western world just for this one thing. Spread this holy name to everybody else. So that everybody, that we know that how it benefited us just by hearing from a devotee, just by taking association of a devotee, just taking a book from a devotee. Everyone, each and every one of us, it helps a lot, and we have so much debt to pay back, so much debt to pay back. And this is the only way that we can pay that debt, engaging ourselves in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's one way we're directly involving in the Leela of Gauri Leela. Gauri Leela is actually still going on. Mentioned that next 10,000 years from starting from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a golden age, golden time, because of everybody can come in contact with the holy name by this time period. It's so nice that we, whatever the way we can, whichever the way we can, little bit, some may put their efforts, maybe little, some may put, depends on their desires and intention, they put more. But yes, every service which we are engaging in Sankirtan is benefiting others, benefiting us a lot. So many ways. Even Srila Prabhupada said, even one person become Krishna conscious by this process, our mission will be, successful. Our mission is successful. One person. So that is the intention of it. So thank you so much. Those who joined us today, please join on Sunday, next Sunday. So then let's try. At same time, 12 to 2. I think it's convenient for everybody because of many devotees are engaged in Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and I think it's also for the common public. Sunday is mostly considered as kind of a sacred day for Sunday. We go in front of them in the town, they may have more attention and like that. Well, let's see. Is it okay? Is it convenient for everybody?
Sounds good to me. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You are there as study and inspiring everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And also, we will set up another meeting. And Gauri Purnima is coming, our book distribution Sankirtan meeting. I got the names from Govindandiri Mataji, but I was just holding on because of there was some kind of comments that there are lots of people in the list. There are senior devotees, they already have some contacts, and if they do have such contacts, we should not directly approach those people. I mean, it's a little tricky in the sense that it's also sensitive. Some people doesn't like that they are already in contact with some senior devotees. They don't like that somebody else contacts them, or something like that. So I'm trying to segregate and identify those people so that we can exclude from this list, and only those people, those who are coming first time or second time, or kind of people that they are not bothered much that if we call them. So segregating out so that I will send it out in couple of days. So give me some time. So that way we don't disturb, of course. And we will also, the Gaura Purnima is coming, and this is the best occasion that we can approach and invite them for the Purnima at the same time. So we'll send it out, segregating and out by devotee, and so that they all can help into that. Thank you so much. Anything else? Nobody? Okay. So let's conclude then. Just thank you everybody. Pay our obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha
Vanchakalpatarvasya
Adidanam
Janam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah
Vaishnavrinda
Ki Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad
Bhagavad
Gita
Gita
Jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada Ki
Thank
Jai,
you, Prabhu.
Jai.
Gauri Vaishnava Ki Jai, Gauri Purnima
Oh,
Hare
thank you, Akhilesh
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Wonderful
Prabhuji.
class.
Hare
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank
Very
you,
nice.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai.